Yo, what's going on YouTube? Bringing you another video today. This is Lord Ike bringing you another video. Like I said earlier, um, this time we're going to be going over the PlayStation State of Play predictions, my opinions and takes on what could be there but may not show up, or things that are completely um, out of the dust at this point, and that will 100% not be there at all. You can write it off and not expect it to be shown. Anyway, let's jump right into it. We're going to go over what I think is a lock, what could be there but may not be there, and then ones that are a lock that will not be there. So we're going to start off with the stuff that I think will be there, and then we'll go down the line of what I think will could be there but may not, and then we'll go into some locks that I think won't be there at all. We're gonna do five each. If we do 10 each, I'm gonna run out of ideas. If I'm being completely honest. But as for my first lock, the most obvious one being Marvel's Wolverine. Now I do think that Wolverine is gonna be the biggest highlight of the show. Everyone wants to see more gameplay after that Insomniac week that we had with on Twitter. So I'm thinking we're probably going to get an updated gameplay trailer. We already know when it's coming out. I just think people want to see more gameplay footage on the game since we have. It's been pretty vague up to this point, but besides the Insomniac week, but I think that's a lock for PlayStation, in my personal opinion. Another lock for PlayStation that I think makes the most sense considering the timeline is Kana Scarred of Cosmore. Now I know we just got it the last day to play, but if you remember, they said it was supposed to come out in 2026. Didn't have a time frame, and I can't think of any other place they would have it other than Summer Games Fest. But I think it's a PlayStation IP. It's a technical exclusive if you don't include Steam. And does it still come to Steam? I highly doubt it, but like we'll see. Um, but I think we do get a timetable of when it's supposed to come out. Even if it's not a natural release date, I think we get like a theme, like whether it's fall, winter. I don't think it comes out in the summer, but based on what we've seen so far, I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that we do get a summer launch window for Kana. I think it's more of a fall type scenario, or maybe the end of summer, like August. But based on what we've seen from Kane and Cosmore, it's a direct sequel taken a couple years after Kana Bridge of Spirits. If you haven't played the game, I definitely recommend you check it out. From what I've played so far of Kana Bridge of Spirits, it's a very good game, very polished, and I always have a feeling that Ember Labs is always keeping things well touched up with the graphics and stuff. So I guarantee Scarlet of Cosmore is my indie game of the year so far. I know it hasn't come out yet, but it's definitely got my vote. It had my vote last time with King of Bridge of Spirits. So, moving on to my third lock of, well, not, I guess my third lock of the show technically may not be there, but because it's been at the past two PlayStation events, I think it's almost and and if not when it's going to be shown again. For my next two announcements, but this is my personal list of locks. So I think another lock for me could be Tides of Annihilation. The only reason I say Tides of Annihilation over some of the other third party stuff is because it was at the State of Play last time and the time before that when it got announced. So I think out of all the third party stuff that could get announced, I think Tides of Annihilation makes the most sense out of some of the other. Now some of the other ones are kind of skepticism at this point, but out of all the third party games, I think Tides of Annihilation is at the top of the list for me to be at the PlayStation show, and plus it's been at the last two, so I'm figuring why not at this point. Um, we saw we've seen one gameplay trailer. I think maybe two gameplay trailers. I think they're going to show us another one with a definitive release window We know it's coming to Xbox. We know it's coming to PlayStation and Steam. Where am I going to get it? Who knows? I might get it for one of the newer consoles, or I might play it on Steam. It just really depends on what my approach on getting these games will be at that time. So I know it's going to be a banger. The past two sh- um, events that they have shown, Tides of Annihilation, have been really good. So I expect nothing less from that studio. As for my fourth game, that's could be a lock, but besides the teaser, we haven't really seen anything, and that's what's that game called? Intergalactic. I think we have to see more gameplay on that studio from Naughty Dog. I mean, outside of Tides of Annihilation, not Tides of Annihilation, outside of like Wolverine, I think the ones that makes the most sense is that Intergalactic from Insomniac and Naughty Dog. I think they'll both have a presence with their individual games. Will they have any other games that could be there? I'll mention it later in the list, but I think Intergalactic, we've only gotten a teaser. I think we need to see gameplay and we need to know if it's going to come out to the PS5. Will it be a launch title for the PS6? I think it's more likely it's going to be a launch title for the PS6, but like I said, I can't say much on that game outside of Naughty Dog's credible history with the latest IPs, Jack and Daxter, Last of Us. What else have they made? I only know about Last of Us and Uncharted. Now, I think we get another Uncharted? I don't know. I think honestly another title I think that could come before that because of how their last project got scratched might come before Uncharted, but who knows? Anyway, moving on to my last lock the of the um last lock of the state of play that could happen. I think it's a toss up between. Now I'm going to do a toss up between two games and why I think either of these two games could be there. Hogwarts Legacy 2 being the first one because we've seen it at PlayStation shows in the past, and we did hear about a couple of weeks that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is on the way and it's going to be shown here shortly. Another one that makes a lot of sense for PlayStation to show is Control, the new Control game. I mean, it's been as for Hogwarts Legacy 2, it has just as much of an argument that it's been in PlayStation shows in the past. Now, what do I think we're gonna get? Then why not? Do I not have Spider-Man 3 or some of the other games? But like Spider-Man 3 is still a ways off. I think we get like another game, which is gonna be my first, could be there but may not be there. Is Marvel's Venom? Have they scrapped it? Have they not done it? Are they still doing it? I don't know. I'll be the first. One of the first, that's gonna be one of my first few questions. Is Marvel's Venom actually a thing similar to Persona 6? But like I said, PlayStation's been tight-lipped on it, unlike some people at Atlas who have let Persona 6 leaks gone out into the wild and stuff like that. But it would make a good bridge gap in between Wolverine and I think another argument could be another Ratchet and Clank game. I mean, there's another possible argument we could get an announcement trailer for either. We've seen multiple games from one studio be announced at a showcase, at a state of play or a showcase. It's not uncommon. We've had it with Persona with Xbox. We've had it with Insomniac when they had Wolverine and Spider-Man 2 at the time. So it's not uncommon. As for my so I'm pretty much putting Marvel's Venom and Ratchet and Clank game in the same category. As for my second lock, second could be there but may not be there. I have as Sucker Punch's next title, whether it's Infamous or Sly Cooper. I'm leaning more towards Sly Cooper just because I'm a Sly Cooper guy, but I wouldn't mind them going back to the roots of Infamous with Infamous 1 and 2 more so than Second Son. I think Second Son was decent, but it wasn't on par in my opinion with Infamous 1 and 2. But Which one do they go with between the two? I would personally love Sly Cooper, but I also wouldn't be against Infamous either. So that's my second if game that could be there. My third one, um, trying to think of some games that are not like out of the realm of possibility, but maybe we could get like a Days Gone remaster. I mean, it hasn't been out. I'm trying to think like from Housemark what they could announce now that Soros is done. I could see it Days Gone. Well, hold on, Bloodborne or Days Gone. I'll just put into one category because there's so much IP that that PlayStation has. I don't know if they'll use. They are looking. I did see a leak that they're trying to bring back some of their old IP outside their heavy hitters. So that's also a possible. Bloodborne 2, I know is not likely, but when someone says it's not likely, it's in development. They just don't want to say anything about it. Or Days Gone remaster could be a possibility. Do we get anything revolving around anything else as far as their heavy hitters? Like I just don't see it. As far as two other ones, I could see like if you put Hogwarts and Control in there, that could be an option. I know that was in my locks, but um, two other PlayStation IPs that could. I don't know a lot of PlayStation studios, so I'm more like on par with Xbox and Nintendo, to be completely honest. But if I had to pick two games that could be there that aren't even first party, even though it's mostly a first party place, I mean, I could see Final Fantasy Part 3, Final Fantasy 7 Part 3 could be there, or maybe Kingdom Hearts 4, because when Final Fantasy 7, we'll just put them into two if categories, because the reason for FF7 is because it started on PlayStation, might as well be at the show. You would think, right? But then on the other hand, there's also Kingdom Hearts 4 that could be there, but I have a feeling that's going to be a that could be a state of play thing, or that could be a Summer Games Fest thing. Another maybe that may not be there, but could be there because it has screwed me in the past, and that's Star Ocean. Because in the last big state of play around this time of year, they had a Star Ocean Divine Force trailer. So do they do Till the End of Time remake? Do they like they did Second Story? Do they do Last Hope? Or do they do a completely new installment? I don't know. I would love a Star Ocean, but last time we thought it was dead, it was when Divine Force was announced around this same time, a couple years ago. But moving on to the games that I think that are definitely not going to be there. I have five games that I know for sure probably will not be there. I could be dead wrong, and then I'm going to have one final announcement of what I think could be there. Since I only listed it four, I'm just saving it for the end. What the last announcement could be at the state of play. Moving on to the games that will definitely not be there. Spider-Man 3, just because I think it's still, like I said earlier, I think Marvel's Venom is a bridge gap. They give them more time for Spider-Man 3. Horizon 3 is another. I think we're still like maybe a year or two away from getting a reveal trailer for Horizon 3. Again, like I said, I think Bloodborne turns like more of a fantasy, if anything. But if I had to pick a third game, Astrobot 2, I don't think will be there. The last one just came out, so I just don't think it will be there. And then the last two, I don't think we'll get anything from Housemark. I would think because you would think we would get Bloodborne 2, but like I just realized that Blue Point just got shut down. So unless someone else were to pick up the IP like Housemark, but I don't think we'll hear anything from Housemark. That's my fourth thing, and then the fifth thing could be I don't think we'll get anything from. Well, Sucker Punch we might get Sly or we might get Infamous. There's I don't think we'll get anything as far as like I'm one of the few people that don't think so. We probably won't get anything from Santa Monica. We already know about the God of War thing that's happening soon, but I don't think it's the fame that everyone's going on about. But sorry, my TV almost shut off. I don't know if it shut off on your end, but the one final announcement that I think definitely would make a splash if it was there, but is it there? I highly doubt it. And that game is Last of Us Part 3. Now, that's my personal prediction. That could be the last game because last year was, I think it was a trilogy for God of War for the first three games. Um, I couldn't think of another series that's on par with God of War then. Now, Horizon 3 could be in that argument too, but I think it's either going to be Horizon 3 or it could be um, Last of Us Part 3. Because if you guys remember that the Last of Us multiplayer project got scrapped, and when they have to be working on something other than um, what comes after Intergalactic. Is it Last of Us? Is it Uncharted? Is it who knows? I guess we'll find out here shortly in a couple days. But sorry for the me thinking a lot because I don't know a lot of PlayStation's IPs outside of the retro stuff. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll bring you my next upload next time. And then I'll bring you a Summer Games Fest prediction on Tuesday or Wednesday for that. And then the Xbox One will be a couple days after. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.